Next, we have Diana Purvis, who will read her piece, My Story, I Am a Gift.
I'd like to dedicate this to my son, Ben, and he's a gift. No one was responsive to my cries. My mom said babies are great because they're right where you left them. My earliest memory was being out in the pen with a black lab. My dad said she was so loyal because she watched me all day. My sister said I would cry uncontrollably. I did not talk until I was about 3, and even then I preferred to draw. I remember climbing the counters to get food, getting yelled at, slapped, pinched, hit, kicked, and spanked. I did not feel safe. No one cared or listened to Diana. No one held me because I needed to be held. No one calmed my fears or wiped away my tears. It wasn't safe to share my feelings. It wasn't safe to talk about what was important to me. It wasn't safe. I went to college. Jamie Atlas looked around and noticed no one cared about Diana. The first thing he did when he met me was he gave me a big hug. He was always honest. I'm leaving at the end of the semester, but you never know what can happen in 3 months. I was determined not to get close. He was determined to look out for me. He was a jock. I was an art student. I lived 3 doors down from him. He invited me to go places. He included me. He became my friend. He made me feel seen and heard. He held me in his lap and sang to me when I was too distraught and tearful to voice what was wrong. He taught me to be assertive. He was my safe place. We lost contact. Over the next 13 years, I struggled. I didn't feel safe or secure. I numbed and tried to fill the emptiness inside with food. It was really hard to make or keep friends. I became morbidly obese, weighing 357 pounds. I was a prisoner of my own body, and I hated myself. I couldn't breathe, and it hurt just to walk across the room. I was depressed, suicidal, ended up inpatient, then a partial hospitalization, major depression. I was on medication, tried to cope with life the best I could with the skills and resources I had. I found Jamie Atlas again. He was a gym owner and a personal trainer. He said he never stopped being my friend. I asked him for help. He started coaching me online. I felt this overwhelming sense of everything was going to be okay. I felt safe. I made an attachment. If I cried out for help, he would be very responsive, much like a parent would be to their child. He nurtured me. I called myself a burden. He said, "No, you're a gift." He pushed me to get outside help and support and almost stopped coaching me. Found out in 2016, after pretty much reaching my goal weight, after losing 211 pounds and feeling super vulnerable, that I had borderline personality disorder. I started to heal myself, went into the partial hospitalization program again, and learned dialectical behavior therapy. I got a new therapist and began learning to use my skills and to get more support. But it was Jamie who taught me to show up for myself, to work hard, to make consistent choices that serve me, to focus on what's most important, to worry about what I'm in control of, to be in the moment, and to answer my own questions. What I didn't understand then was that Jamie was helping me to learn to have autonomy, to grow and evolve. He helped me to feel secure. I would work on following my rules on my own, and then something in my life would cause a crisis, and I would seek him out for security. The ways I did that was by breaking rules to get consequences, or by using my emergency phrase, "You are my safe place." Both of those would be considered proximity-seeking behaviors to get his attention. I would feel secure and go back to what is called exploratory behavior, like practicing following my rules on my own. As I did this each time, I'd get closer to autonomy. I found out later this was an actual therapy technique called reparenting. After many years of coaching, Jamie set a boundary that made me feel less than a friend. He told me he could not coach me anymore. He said he'd still be my friend, but not be as responsive. I knew I needed to become independent, but what he was asking of me seemed impossible. I tried, but I could not do it. I felt like I was being thrown off a cliff. I was so intent on Jamie saving me. I reached out to a Buddhist page because Buddhism is the root of DBT. A monk responded. He offered to teach me. He gave me a mantra to say daily. I'll always treat myself with the greatest, most loving respect. I will always treat others with the greatest, most loving respect. The Buddhist monk, who I call Te, which means teacher, waited patiently at times for the lessons to really sink in. Te taught me to look within for the answers rather than external influences, to breathe, to really be present. I realized I had to save myself. My newest therapist helped me to realize I asked Jamie if he believed in me because I didn't believe in me, to be my safe place because I didn't know how to make myself feel safe. I looked to him because I did not trust my own deep intuition. I realized it wasn't my relationship with Jamie that was broken, but my relationship with myself. I needed to fix it. I started looking deep within, starting to see things as they really are. It was so painful. I realized I was enmeshed with Jamie, at least on my side of the relationship. I needed to look to myself to grow out of my attachment to him slowly over time. I started to be my own safe place, to forgive myself, to be kind to myself, to be proud of me, to believe in me, to love myself. Now I value myself more and set my own boundaries, rules, and expectations of myself. When others try to manipulate, invalidate, or question my boundaries, I reinforce them. The more I value myself, and the less I tolerate my boundaries being broken. I also now understand what it must have felt like for Jamie to get his boundaries broken by me about what's most important to him. Buddhist Thich Nhat Hanh says, no blame, no reasoning, no argument, just understanding. If you understand and show you understand, you can love and the situation will change. Just recently, I realized I no longer feel a deep sense of being alone. I no longer fear I'm going to be abandoned. I'm no longer suicidal. I don't have this deep emptiness inside. I know who I am. I'm pretty sure I don't meet the diagnostic criteria for borderline personality disorder anymore. I see me. I know me. I am me. I am brave. I really am a gift.